If you want to fill your calendar, to flood your calendar with prospects who are willing and ready and able to pay you $5,000, $15,000, $30,000 or more for your offers, then keep watching because I'm going to show you exactly how I do it again and again and again, and the three things I have in place that allow me to do this on autopilot. So the first thing is I have a irresistible signature angle. It's my unique market positioning. It's something I have for myself. It's something I craft for my clients regardless. It's a way that I, myself, you can stand out in your industry and become a category of one. It's not branding, it's not your personality, it's not your authority, it's not your magnetism. It's something that you do exceptionally well that no one else can replicate. And when you know what that is and you know how to weave it into your marketing, that's when you can spend such a small amount on your ads and get phenomenal results because now you are a category of one and you do not sound like everyone else in your industry. So that's the first step that we set in place. Regardless whether you work with us or you want to do it yourself, you want something that's completely your own. So when you're thinking about how do I create something that's completely my own, what does that even mean? You want to think about if somebody were to come, if a competitor were to come through your funnel right now, come through your content, replicate everything in your content, what's something that you can put in there? There is no possible way that they can do that because it's entirely yours. There is no way they could offer it because it's entirely yours. And yes, you want to put a name on it. You want to have a trademark, um, a TM or whatever after the title so that people identify it with you. But it's something that's yours. And again, this is what I do for my clients because as of now, I'm the only person who really has honed in on this need to have this in your business because I have seen so many coaches, so many consultants, so many service providers start their business and get really excited and then just become a category of many because they work with somebody else who sets up a very basic funnel. And yes, that funnel might do well, but it's not going to get them to the level they want because all of the clients that work with me, they're aspirational, they're like me, they're visionaries. They're not focused on where they are today, they're not focused on where they are in 2 weeks. They're like, I'm growing a business, I'm going to start an AI software system in a year, right? Like they have these big dreams. And so if you have those big dreams, you can't play small. You have to go big from the start because otherwise you become a category of many. And while you can get some clients, it's not going to fuel, that's not going to bring in the revenue that you need to get to that big audacious goal that you have 6 months down the road or a year down the road. So that's the first thing is to have your market position, what I call your irresistible signature angle. The second thing that you need in place then is the messaging that takes that and weaves it through and speaks to premium buyers with psychology based in premium buyer psychology. And yes, there is such a thing. So that you are speaking to high ticket, high value needs. So this is where like my experience working with Fortune 500, inside of Fortune 500 corporations, I worked with very ultra high net worth clients. And in that role, I identified very quickly how they want to be sold to, how they don't want to be sold to. And so when you are thinking about putting your messaging together, you can use ChatGPT, but you really want to be careful with ChatGPT because ChatGPT is just going to regurgitate whatever's already available. So when you're thinking about high ticket messaging, it needs to speak to the client you want to work with. It needs to be at an elevated level, right? It needs to speak to their pain points and it needs to be in their words. And so one way that you can think about, well, what are my clients' words? Is, if you've done sales calls, then you can take some of those questions that they've asked you on the sales call, whether they became a client or not, and you can weave that into your messaging because that's like, oh, you know what, they asked me that, I should put that in there somewhere. You can put it in your email sequence. But when you think about, what do they want? What is the outcome? What are they actually looking for? And so you can go online and get a lot of ideas. ChatGPT can be somewhat helpful, but when you're thinking about high ticket, it really needs to be what I call white glove, right? It needs to be this white glove presentation. So you want to think about like taking words and serving them on a silver platter to somebody because that's what brings the people, that's what attracts those premium clients, right? They aren't looking for mass marketed messaging. Mouthful. They're looking for words that they connect with, high value words, words that are not necessarily luxurious, but leaning towards a premium buyer, sophisticated buyer, and they want to understand that you know their struggles, which goes into the messaging, the pain points, whether you like that word or not. You want to focus on that when you are putting your messaging together because it's that mix of premium messaging, premium psychology mixed in with words, spoken in their voice to them. And once you find what that is, and if you work with my agency, I do this for you. But once you find that nice dynamic and you see that it's working, then you just keep improving on it, and you trickle it out. So, you weave it into your ads, into your email nurture, into your funnels, anywhere you have a client coming into your offers, your social media channels, you make sure it's there. Because the presentation, it's not just the messaging, and this is a secret that most people don't know. It's not just the messaging, it's how you say it. It's the presentation, it's the way with which you say the words and the way that you communicate that. And so, yes, some of that does tie into authority or magnetism if you're into the manifestation world. And that magnetism is definitely what pulls people in. So your enthusiasm, but it's also it's not so much the branding, but it's, if you're selling a $50,000 offer to a corporate level CEO for, high executive level coaching, you need to make sure that your background, what you're wearing, reflects what they're used to seeing. Because that's one thing, you cannot show up. You can, but it's going to be really struggle. You're going to struggle to stand out, especially in the beginning. So some people would argue what I'm about to say. Well, Alex Hormozy, well, he's very successful and he's in gems. It's a very different dynamic. And at this point, he can pretty much do what he wants. When you're first starting, you want to be very aware of what you're wearing and where you're showing up, what's behind you on the camera, what's the environment you're in, is it loud, is it quiet, all of those things, because believe it or not, that ties into the messaging. And nobody's really speaking about this online. So, gone are the days, if they ever even existed, I don't think they did, where you could just do what you wanted, you could sit in your living room and people would just come in and throw money at you, right? Like, that's what people have always said online. I don't believe that's true. Regardless, where you are, how you're attired, what is behind you, all of those things, what you're saying, all of it weaves into your messaging. So, if you are, for example, if you're in a corporate, if you're looking to work with very corporate minded people, and I know because I used to work in corporate, they have a specific way they speak, a specific way they dress, a specific background most of them use when they're on Zoom. So you want to make sure that you are reflecting that back to them, even if perhaps that's not your style per se. And again, once you get to a certain level, you can do what you want. But when you're first building up your business and your branding and all of those things, all of this matters. So that's the second thing. So you have an irresistible signature angle, and then you want to weave it into your messaging and make sure that you're on brand for the people that you're speaking to. Then the third thing is you need to have some way to run all of this for you on autopilot. So I do not care what anyone else says online about not needing a funnel. You need a funnel. You have to have a funnel. Unless you have a appointment setting team that's running things for you behind the scenes, or you feel like showing up on Instagram every single day, whether you have mini chat or not, you still have to follow up with that. Mini chat will only go so far. You have to have a way to bring those people into a software system and tag them and have their names and their contact information, and most importantly, the ability to text them. And so this gets lost in people when they say, well, I don't need to automate a funnel. I don't need something sophisticated. If you want to get to multiple 5-figure months, just like I've done, if you want to get to 6-figure months, just like I've done, you have to have automated systems that are running a lot of your client acquisition for you. Because when you want to send out your email marketing campaign as a 6-figure business owner, 6-figure monthly business owner, you do not have the time, nor do you want to have to hire and train somebody on how to do this. By having a list in one system that you have to export, upload to another system to send out your emails. It's too much, and you don't have to spend a lot on software systems. I'm not talking about Kajabi or something that's hundreds of dollars. There's very low, expensive softwares that will do this for you without zapping it all together with Zapier. Yeah, zaps. So regardless, but that automated system keeps everything in one place. But back to what I was saying, it allows you to have two-way texting. So we're in a world, and who knows where we're going to be with SMS in a couple of years, but right now, SMS is definitely taking priority over email. So I still use email nurture sequences. I still think they're very important, but the SMS texts that go out that are part of my nurture sequence when somebody opts in generate so many calls, and they nurture so many people, and they drive so many people to, depending on how we're using the SMS sequence and where we're sending them to. So, and the reason for that is because people are glued to their phones. And so a text is less easy to ignore, is less easy to ignore than an email that's going into an inbox with $2,500 messages, or I'm sorry, 2,500 messages or more. And I have worked alongside many founders and many people inside of corporate, and I can tell you I've seen consistently seen inboxes with 25,000 emails or more. So when you think about that, think about the emails that you're competing with. And also, no matter your industry, if somebody's seeing your ad, they're seeing a competitor ad because it's Meta. And so Meta takes same and same as they start to show you similar ads because they just want you to be happy and to find the offer that's for you. So you are not the only person that's running a similar ad to your ideal client. They're seeing others. So while your ad is going out and they're perhaps engaging with it or booking calls, they're also doing this with somebody else and probably more than one. So not only is your email vying for attention in an already crowded inbox, it's vying for attention in a crowded inbox alongside other competitors. So again, email is very important, but the two-way text, the ability to have a text that goes out and then for somebody to respond is so big. And so many business owners don't take advantage of that. And I do it all without appointment setters. So again, automated software systems, not with AI, with high ticket. AI will unfortunately at this point, will very easily lose you business as much as it will help you with automation for texts. But it's very helpful to have automated texts that go out in a sequential format, done at a specific frequency that you don't annoy the premium client that you really want to work with. But it allows them to then, if it's with the right software, and there's not many that do this, but if it allows them to send a text back, then you now have a dialogue and you can have engagement. And whether they become a client now or in a month, it doesn't matter. It opens that door and it puts you and your business in their phone, in their text thread, not just their emails. So those are the three things that you need to have in your business if you really want to sell your highest ticket offers again and again and again and scale and scale and scale and scale and bring in the team members and have the big dreams and get where you want to go in a year or 5 years. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe, like, and follow, and I'll see you inside the next video.